Hey guys, it's Tony here at Game Freak Blog again, just bringing you another video. Today I want to talk about Mass Effect 3 game and the tremendous clusterfuck that has happened within the last 24 hours with people pre-ordering the game. Not just specifically the game with them, but what I want to basically concentrate on here is the collector's edition, the N7 collector's edition. Now, let me just paint a little picture for you. Yesterday, I was down in London doing my usual studies, where I go down twice a week. It's a really, really long day. It's physically challenging. It's mentally challenging. I usually end up walking in my door at about 11:30 at night. And the last thing I need at that kind of time is any stress whatsoever. So I kind of like sat myself down, made myself a nice cup of tea, just kind of kicked back and thought, oh, let's see what's been happening in the gaming world today. So I jumped onto Twitter. And as soon as I jumped onto Twitter, I went to any messages that had been sent to me. And the one that was sitting, waiting at the top was from one of my friends on Twitter. And the message simply said, "Game are not stocking Mass Effect 3 with a link." So I was kind of like, what? He must be kind of like mistaken or something like that. I've had this pre-ordered for months and months and months. So I clicked on the link, and lo and behold, the news was there that game will not be selling Mass Effect 3. Now, it's the latest in troubling times for the game retailer. It seems to have been struggling quite a lot quite recently, and it's been missing out on quite a few key titles, and more namely the entire PS Vita lineup from Ubisoft. They weren't stocking that. I believe also Tekken on the 3DS, they weren't stocking that. It's also come out that they're not going to be stocking Mario Party 9, I think it is on 9 now on the Wii. And lo and behold, it won't have Mass Effect to sell for next week's launch. And basically, there was an internal memo going around, I think it was leaked by Eurogamer, that basically showed that Game was cancelling all pre-orders on upcoming EA titles, FIFA Street, Tiger Woods 13, and The Sims, as well as Mass Effect 3. Now, I was just basically kind of caught in a little bit of a quandary, because I was kind of like sitting there thinking, shit, what the hell am I going to do? Mass Effect is pretty much my favourite gaming series of all time. I love Mass Effect so much. I know it's stupid to talk about a game in that way, but I literally eat shit and fucking breathe Mass Effect. I've played through the first game, must be about 8 or 9 times. I've played through the second game about 6 times. I've got the day off for when Mass Effect 3 comes out. I'm going to be doing nothing else but sitting there playing that. If there's only one game that's released this year, that game that I will have, that I can own, that game would be Mass Effect 3. There's no ifs, ways, buts. Call of Duty fucking 15, Battlefield 10, Resident Evil 6, Assassin's Creed 3, whatever, you can keep them. Mass Effect is my game for this year. And I had a pre-order with Game. I was the very first on the list in my little game. I put the pre-order down even before they were taking pre-orders for it. That's how much I've been anticipating this game. So as you could probably imagine, coming back after my workload of a day yesterday to this news, I felt like I came home and been burgled or something like that. It's absolutely crazy. And the first thing that I started to do was just jump onto different websites. I shot to Amazon, I shot to Play. Basically, EA put out a Mass Effect update saying for people in the UK, these are the people that's going to be stocking the game. So they had Amazon Play, Shop 2, Zavvi, Blockbusters, the video rental stop, and I went to every single website of them, went to place an order, bang, sold out straight away. I was like, fucking hell, I am not going to get my hands on this game. I was tweeting like a bastard yesterday. I was venting, and if anyone saw my vents on Twitter last night, I'm sorry for venting so much, but I was just so pissed off. I took my little N7 armor and I spat my Reaper-shaped dummy out of the pram. I was in such a mardy. This is coming from a 37-year-old man. I was in such a mardy that I was sitting there thinking, fuck it, I'm not going to buy Mass Effect then. I don't want the single play. I don't want the single game. I want the collector's edition. Fuck it, they're not having my money. I was literally in such a real bad mood. Some lovely people on Twitter, first thing this morning, they were sending me links to GameStop saying that they had some in stock. I managed to catch Blockbuster this morning when they had it in stock. Sorry, I'm circumventing here. I went onto the Blockbuster website and they didn't have it in stock. Now, I've got a local Blockbuster, literally a 5-minute walk from me, so I went up there first thing this morning and it wasn't open yet, but one of the members of staff was standing outside, and I said to him, look, are you taking any pre-orders for the Mass Effect box set? And he says he doesn't know that they are or anything. I was sitting there thinking, oh my god, shit, what am I going to do? But the guy says, look, as soon as I get in, I'll check it for you. I'll see what the score is. If there's one there, you know, I'll put it down and reserve it and stuff. Now, basically, this I don't know what's happened. Basically, one of the game channel directors, Tom Devin, he basically said, and I'm going to quote here, last week we held an event for our publishers in the industry and explained the challenges we are facing in the short term, and we asked for their support. We will not stock products if the terms are not right for our business, a position we believe is critical to our long-term health as a business. We have taken the very difficult decision not to stock EA's March releases, including Mass Effect 3. Now, I know there's things that are going on behind the scene that I'm not ever going to know about, but surely stocking one of the biggest names of the gaming year, we're talking Mass Effect 3, isn't really going to affect their short-term business. If anything, it's going to help their short-term business. I mean, you know, I'd probably imagine that game store-wide across the country have taken, I don't know, maybe tens of thousands of copies, not just for the collector's edition, but just for the normal edition as well. So I can't actually see that mentality there. And there's obviously things going on in the business world that we don't kind of know about. There's things in the world of game that the staff don't know about. And this just doesn't affect game as well. It obviously affects Game Station. And it's just a bit of a shocking state of affairs, really. And the way that Game have handled it has been absolutely shit, to be honest. I've had no email from them. I've been shopping with Game for years and years and years. I've had no email. I've had nothing. All the stuff that I've found out about what's been happening, where I can get an alternative copy of the game from. What's going to happen to the deposit money that I put down. It's all been from people on Twitter. It's all been from people sending me links to kind of like things. And if you're one of my Twitter friends, I just want to thank you for all of the kind of help that you've been giving me to try and track down a collector's edition. I really, really appreciate it so much. Some of you guys that chat with me quite a lot on Twitter know that I'm a Mass Effect man. So, you know, it really, really did help. And you know, there's basically, I just don't know what the decision is. I mean, on the game website right now, they've put kind of, unfortunately, we're not in a position to supply our customers with Mass Effect 3. As dedicated gamers, we know how disappointing this will be and apologise sincerely for every inconvenience this will cause. We value our customers very highly, and customers who have already pre-ordered will be contacted shortly with more information. Well, that's not me, but luckily enough, I went down into my local game store today, sorted out. I got a cash refund and I got bonus points stuck on my card for the inconvenience, if you like. But I was kind of in a real mood about it yesterday. I was in a real bad mood. I was shouting, I was venting on Twitter. It was just, I was just sitting there thinking, my God, I have the limited collector's edition of the first game. I've got the N7 collector's edition of the second game, and because it's the trilogy, it's the gaming trilogy of trilogies. Fuck Star Wars or Lord of the Rings. This is the gaming trilogy, okay? And I wanted it to be complete. All the big special editions there, and it just put me in such a mood. I was sitting down, I was fuming, I was ranting. I didn't even finish my tea. I went and poured myself a fucking brandy and ginger. It was almost like coming home and finding like my wife had fucking left me or something like that. I was so pissed off. I was just shouting, ah! Put it on my Facebook page, everything. And then I kind of like had a little bit of a moment of clarity. I kind of got a little bit of perspective. And just bear with me on this, because I'm going to take a fucking sentence for a walk here. But I was basically sitting down, And I just kind of sat there, and I've had lots of kind of challenges this week, and for some reason everything's been working out absolutely fine for me. I don't know whether someone, I'm not spiritual or anything at all, but it's almost like someone has been up there looking after me this week. Every time something's been going wrong, a solution has presented itself. Every time I thought I was going to have no money to do this, that and the other, lo and behold, something would appear in my bank from something that I forgot. Everything seemed to be going right with me this week. And I just kind of sat down and I just got some perspective on the matter. And it started where I was just kind of thinking to myself, I literally sat there and I said to myself, Tony, it's a game. That's all. It's just a game. It's a game that you love. It's a game that you have lots and lots of fun with. It's a game that you love the galaxy, the universe, the characters. I've invested time into them now. But it's just a game. It's just a game. And all my fretting, all the kind of ranting I was doing on Twitter last night, all the ranting I was doing on Facebook, ringing my mates first thing this morning, Mass Effect, the fucking bastards, all this, it was just a game. And I was just sitting there venting over it. And when I kind of like sat back and I kind of thought to myself, you know what, let's just get some perspective on this matter. It's just a game. I can go out and buy the standard version. There's many shops that are going to be selling it. Sainsbury's have announced they're going to be having it in. GameStop have had stock all day. There's local independent retailers around. You know, your local Chips might be getting some copies in. It's just a game. And I've just been looking on certain forums such as Eurogamer and all around of forums and people venting on Twitter. And the bile and the hate, almost literal hatred that is spewing out for game at the moment on some forums is something to behold. Now listen, I know that some of you have probably decided, I've seen lots of people that probably decided they're never ever going to shop with game again. They've said, you know, they've let me down over this, I'm never going to buy another product from them. I'm not going to support them anymore, which is absolutely fine. As a consumer, that is your choice. You have the choice to walk away from any kind of deal that you don't think is doing you any benefit at all. I was there. I was like pissed from all the years and years I've been buying games and consoles and peripherals and taking friends down to game if they need something. All these years, I felt initially betrayed. It was kind of like, how can they do this to me? To me! How can they do this? And then I kind of sat there and thought, it's just a game. It's just a game. I took a chill pill. I sat down and it's just a game. It's a game that I'm going to die if I don't get on the day of release. Not literally, of course, but metaphorically. But it's just a game. And as soon as I kind of sat back and I started putting things into perspective and started looking at a few comments that people were putting down, I was thinking, you know what, guys, we're blowing this all out of proportion, really. You know, lots of the people, I popped into my local game today just to see what was happening, and I had a chat with one of the guys that I know that I'm going to mention no names. And he was basically just saying that, you know, it's the big cheeses. They've tried to sort this out. Apparently, it was all to do with the credit terms from EA, that they wanted higher credit terms than what game usually have, and the management decided that, you know, they were maybe unfavourable to them. So they just decided to kind of like walk away from the deal, which you know is unfortunate. But the thing that I want to say is, if you had your game pre-ordered with game, you feel pissed off about it or whatever. You know, it's not the people, it's not the staff, it's not the actual shop, it's not the bricks and mortar shop itself that kind of took that pre-order thing away from you. Nobody in the shop decided to take that away from you. It's all the people, it's all the managers, it's all the buyers, it's all the people in the top brass that have made that decision that meant that your pre-order was screwed over. And the guy that I was talking to today, he's had people in today, this morning, literally walking into the shop, bad-mouthing him, swearing him, threatening them with violence, threatening they're going to smash the shop up, all over a fucking game. I mean, come on, guys. I mean, I'm like you. I was so angry and frustrated at first, but never in all of my days would I go into a shop and start shouting for something that's nothing to do with that person themselves. Yeah, it's nothing to do with the staff that's in the shop. Do you think they want to be standing there getting shouted at and asking questions and being told that they're ripping people off and that they'll never come and shop at Game again? It's the generals and the soldiers. The people at the top never ever have to listen to the kind of shit that the average kind of staff member in a game shop needs to kind of put up with. I know I'm not sticking up for Game. I know that people don't like their business practices. I personally don't like the fact that, you know, within 2 days of a game being out, there'll be a pre-owned copy of the game, maybe at $37.99 as opposed to the $39.99 copy that's available for new. Yeah, I don't like the fact that, you know, publishers aren't really seeing a penny of the pre-owned game sales. But all this kind of stuff is another video entirely, which I may cover at some point. I'm just basically talking with what's been going on in the last 24 hours with Mass Effect. You know, it is upsetting. It will piss you off that the game's gone, but you know, there's a lot more to it than just the staff stopping the game from happening. You know, the guy that I was talking to today is, of course we want bloody Tiger Woods, of course we want The Sims, of course we want Mass Effect. He said it's killing me. As soon as he saw me walk into the shop, he just says, please don't give me any grief. I've had enough of it today. Yeah, and all right, I just said probably, you know, obviously to do with Mass Effect then, and he just looked at me, rolled his eyes and said, you wouldn't believe. He's had it all day long. Yeah. Now, you know, as I said, I'm not telling you where to shop. If you don't, if this has been the final straw for you with Game, fantastic. You know, go ahead, shop somewhere else. I must admit, I was initially disappointed, but the reason why I shop at Game, I shop at lots of little independents, mostly from a retro and everything like that. But the reason why I like going into Game is I'm kind of a little bit of a traditional guy where I kind of like customer service. I don't mind going in and paying maybe £5 over the odds for a game that, you know, if the game's 35 quid online, 40 quid in the game store, I don't mind, because I like be able to go into a game shop, stand there, chat with the people. In my local Game, they sort me out so much. They'll always give me DLC codes for games. If I haven't managed to get in a pre-order for a special edition of a certain game when I completely forgot to, they will always sort me out with a copy. They bend over backwards to kind of like help me out. And as a consumer, I'd rather pay that extra £5 for that bit of service than to just give it to some mindless website for the sake of saving £5. You haven't got to agree with me on this matter. This is just me personally. For you, you may just want to save every single quid that you get. You may get the game online 5, 6, 7, 8, £10 less and get it 3 days early. If that's the service that you like, you know, go for it. Love it, lap it up, all the more power to you. But I like to be able to go into a shop, stand there and chat with people, have a bit of banter and get the customer service. And this is why it's essentially going to quite upset me if Game goes. I mean, they're obviously in having a lot of problems at the moment, which you know we don't know about and probably never will know about until the day where they may go under. And it's all well and good, you know, bashing Game, saying I'm never going to shop there again, Game can fuck itself, blah, 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 and all this kind of thing. But you're kind of forgetting the human element here, which is the more important thing, yeah? It's like if Game goes under and maybe Game Station goes with it, maybe they can separate the two businesses, because it's kind of a separate business, they're separate businesses at the moment. But maybe if one or the other goes in, I mean, this is thousands of people that are going to be unemployed, thousands of people looking for new jobs, and it's all well and good to have like a reactionary emotion to news such as this with the Mass Effect thing. I did. God, if you were reading my tweets on Twitter last night, you know I had a fucking emotional reaction about it. But just stepping back from that emotional reaction and actually thinking more of the human element of the people that are potentially going to be losing their jobs in this, gamers like me and you, yeah, I just kind of thought to myself, you know what, I'm making a mountain out of a molehill here. I'm just going to send it out into the universe. If I get the game, I get the game, that's brilliant. If I don't get the game, that's fine. Which brings me on to the point which I was kind of saying earlier on about my week. Everything's been falling into place for me this week. It's like I've had a guardian angel over my shoulder. So lo and behold, I was kind of I went up to the Blockbuster rang the guy at about 11:15 to see if he'd heard any news, and apparently he'd been on their head office, and head office had said yes, they're going to be getting the collector's editions in. The guy, out of his own pocket, paid for the deposit for me. I went up to the local store, went in, paid him the deposit, I got the receipt. He says they're 99% certain that the game should be on in release day. Obviously there's 1% uncertainty, but I was kind of happy with that. And as I went into town, I went into the local Granger Games store, where I know a few of the guys in there, and I says, oh, you know, by any chance have you got any collector's editions of Mass Effect available for pre-order? He said, funny enough, we've just had a memo and we're told that we're going to be getting them all in so we can start telling our customers now. So I pre-ordered another one just in case. So this is what I'm talking about, guys, about the universe sometimes supplying, you know, from me sitting there last night fuming about the game, fuming that I wasn't going to get any Mass Effect, that I'm sitting here at this moment with 2 pre-order receipts for the game in my wallet. But that was said, I don't really know what I've been making this video about. I just wanted to, like, as I said, take a sentence for a walk and just chat about the game thing. They're having problems, guys, and it's okay beating down on them at the moment. If they've upset you with the Mass Effect pre-order thing, you know, and you've decided to take your business elsewhere, that's absolutely fine. You know, more power to you. You know, I was in pretty much the same position myself this morning. But again, you know, just take a minute and just kind of like detach yourself and just see the human side. And, you know, if game does go down, that's going to take thousands of young people, middle-aged people as the managers. Thousands and thousands of people are going to be losing their jobs, and they're gamers like you and me. And, you know, we can bash game all we want, but just remember, it's the management that made this kind of like decision. You know, it wasn't, from what I've understood, it wasn't EA. EA offered them terms. It was the management that turned around, and for whatever reason, they made this decision on the game store. So if you're going to go down into town this weekend to get your pre-order money back from them, get the points put on your card, just spare a minute before you go in, before you start going in on that rant, and just think, you know what, let's just talk to another human here. Let's not get angry about this. So guys, thanks for tuning in and listening to me ramble. Tony here from Game Freak Blog. Catch you in the next video. Bye bye.